The sole purpose of this video is to provide a basic overview and orientation of your new apparatus. This video is not intended to act as or replace individualized driver-operator training. Individual fire departments may base guidelines, policies, and procedures tailored for best practices. Pierce Manufacturing and Hughes Fire Equipment representatives are not liable for injuries caused from acts resulting from actions inconsistent with the information provided within this video and/or accompanying manuals. Refer to the Operation and Maintenance Manual for complete details relating to the components and features of this apparatus. Only trained personnel should operate this vehicle or perform maintenance. You are responsible for learning how to operate this fire apparatus under all conditions without having to refer to the manual while operating at an emergency incident. This video will discuss types of warnings and caution labels. It is your responsibility to locate and identify each of the labels and understand the importance and associated hazards. Warning labels will point out procedure that must be taken or action that must be avoided to guard against the possibility of serious injury or death. Caution labels will advise you that there is a risk of damage to property if certain precautions are not followed. Continuous training, reviewing of operation and service manuals, developing good standardized practices will assist driver operators with a more complete understanding of the components and operation of this fire apparatus. As the driver operator of this vehicle, you are responsible for understanding the function of each component of the apparatus, maintaining control of the fire apparatus at all times while in operation. Make operational and functional changes while operating at an emergency without having to read operator's instructions or safety warning labels. Operate manual override and emergency shutdown procedures immediately if a component fails to operate properly. Components location may vary with each Pierce fire apparatus. Review the exact location of each component prior to operation. Major inconsistencies between your vehicle and the information contained in this video should be directed to your sales representative. Safe operation of any vehicle is the responsibility of the driver operator. You must learn the location and function of all controls, switches, gauges, valves, inlets, and discharges. Due to a higher center of gravity, heavy trucks have a significantly higher rollover tendency than other types of vehicles. To reduce the risk of rollover, avoid making sharp turns, excessive speed, and avoid abrupt maneuvers. In the event of a rollover crash, an unbelted person is significantly more likely to become injured or die than a person wearing a seatbelt. In the event of a crash, unbuckled occupants can also become a hazard to other occupants, as they may be thrown around inside the cab. Seatbelts are required while in operation. Please refer to your warranty certificates for details and information enclosed in your manuals. Customer-installed equipment must be mounted to withstand road travel and comply with NFPA 1901. Modifications such as drilling holes or welding to structural frame components of the chassis are not permitted. Contact Pierce for instruction and review of non-structural sheet metal or other dissimilar metals for modification. Follow the radio installation guide for further assistance on installing or mounting electronics. Before placing your new apparatus into service, perform a primary inspection of key components of the apparatus, including all fluid levels, anti-lock braking systems, electronic stability control, and automatic traction control. Weigh your apparatus to ensure that it conforms to axle and brake ratings. Never exceed the gross axle rating printed on the label inside the cab. Exceeding these ratings could lead to reduced component life, personal injury, or death. Review the use of auxiliary braking systems, compression brake, exhaust brake, electronic retarder, and hydraulic retarder. Before placing the apparatus in service, refer to the operational maintenance manuals. Information on the operation and maintenance functions for the components such as the pump, pressure governor, and foam systems, along with other options, is provided in either the Pierce manuals and/or other manufacturer support information delivered with the apparatus. If you need more information, please contact Hughes Fire Equipment. Congratulations, Scottsdale, Arizona, on your new fire apparatus, job number 31364. Please utilize this job number when referencing your apparatus with Hughes Fire Equipment and Pierce Manufacturing. Let's get started on a brief orientation of your new apparatus. Starting down at the front bumper, you'll find right and left dual air horns. Moving up from that location, you'll find two mechanical sirens. Located in the center of the bumper, you'll find an electronic siren PA speaker. Moving up onto the top of the extended bumper, you'll find access for your crosslays for the front bumper. Moving up onto the side of the body, you'll find turn indicators. Just inward of that location to the headlight cluster, you'll find the low beam on the outer section and the high beam on the inside. Moving up from that, you'll find right and left emergency lights. Underneath the Pierce logo, you'll find the access latch to open the hood. As we move up onto the windshield, you have 3 windshield wipers across your seamless front windshield. Your mirrors have flat and convexed on the outer portion, and on the under portion a convex mirror. Moving up, you'll have on the brow of the apparatus running lights. Located in the center, a center-facing floodlight, full-width light bar. On the very top outer edges, you'll find a right and left go light. Located in the center, you'll find your opticom. Let's go ahead and move to the side of the bumper area. You'll find an additional access door. You'll also find on the body, low toward the front tire, a front cornering light, and above that, an emergency warning light. Here are some close-ups of some of those things that we just talked about on your front bumper. As we look at the headlight cluster, you'll find the inner beam is the high beam and the outer is the low beam. This is with the compartment in the open position. There are also caution labels regarding not to step in this area. You'll find 2 additional front bumper access discharges. Underneath the Pierce logo is where you'll find the latch to open the hood on the front of your apparatus. Once the hood has been opened, you'll see a coolant tank on the left-hand side. This is on the driver's side. You'll also find instructions under the hood for raising and lowering the cab of your vehicle. The yellow handle is a remote for raising and lowering the cab. The red handle is the selector for your position of raise or lower. And in the corner, you'll find your power steering fluid. Moving all the way over to the passenger side, you'll find your fill location for your windshield wipers. Here are some additional close-ups. As we look to the side of the apparatus, this is the plug-in for your shoreline inlet. This is a 20 amp auto eject. We'll take a look at some of the safety items on the side of the pumper. First, let's talk about pressurized caps and the associated hazards while under pressure while opening. Be cautious. And there's also a warning label here regarding not to ride on the side of your apparatus while in motion. In the upper left-hand corner, you have your air supply. It's a turn, not a pull. Your air outlet and also an air inlet. In the upper corner, you'll find a warning label regarding foam failure hazard if you mix your foams. Moving down from this location, you'll find your access for your auxiliary foam. This is the foam inlet, foam strainer, and also your drain. Just beneath that, you'll find the warning label regarding associated hazards with pressurized caps. You have number 1 and number 3 driver's side discharges. These are 2.5 inch with an electronic controlled valve. Therefore, there are overrides associated with those individual discharges. At the very bottom, you'll find all of your drains that are color-coded. Let's move slightly to the right. You'll find your auxiliary driver's side inlet, a 2.5 inch. Moving up from that, you'll find your driver's main inlet override. Let's go ahead and look behind the diamond plated panel. This is the location for your speed loads. At the top, you'll find an additional load and also 2 loads at the base. You'll find your number 1 crosslay and number 2 crosslay. You'll also find an additional warning label regarding the possibility of entanglement when those hoses are coming off the side of the apparatus. Also located in the center is the release mechanism to allow the speed loads to be removed from their location and moved to the ground. Let's look up from this position. You'll find an additional speed load. At the very top, this is referred to as your dead load. Let's take a look. Starting in the upper left-hand corner, we'll identify the components within the pump panel. First, starting in the upper left corner, you'll find a warning label regarding only trained personnel should operate this. At the very top, you'll find your Pierce maintenance operation schedule, 150, 200, and 250 psi. Moving to the right, you'll find your foam tank A. At the very top, you'll find this light if illuminated, indicating that your pump is properly engaged. Master intake. Moving to the right, you'll find your master discharge. Between the master intake and master discharge, you'll find your test port gauges. These are for vacuum and pressure. In the upper right-hand corner, you'll find an indicator regarding PCM fault and also an audible speaker just beneath that. Let's move down to the next section. This is going to be your bumper front crosslay. It is water and foam capable. Next to it, you'll find your bumper rear crosslay. It is also foam capable. Crosslay number 1 and crosslay number 2, both are foam capable. Moving further to the right, you'll find your driver's main inlet, passenger main inlet, and the rear inlet. These are all electric valves. And to the very far right, you'll find your Pierce pressure governor. In the upper left-hand corner, you'll find the check engine indicator, a digital readout, a stop engine indicator, all of your associated engine components, your water tank level, silence menu, and also your mode control for pressure or volume. In the upper left-hand corner, you'll find your fire pump with also information here regarding when in use, use at least 1,000 RPMs. An additional warning label here regarding the non-mixing of foam components. Down in the lower left, you'll find your tank fill and recirculating line. To the right of that in black, you'll find your tank to pump. Further to the right, you'll find the reel discharge. In the upper left-hand corner, these are once again Akron electric valves. This is your number 1 driver's side discharge, number 3 driver's side discharge. Each of these are all color-coded. They are also clearly labeled. Moving to the center, you'll find your deluge discharge. Moving all the way up to the top, this is the module for your foam system. Moving further to the right, you'll find the number 2 passenger side discharge. In green, your large diameter discharge, and then also your passenger side discharge. You'll also find that they are also indicated in the lettering that they are foam capable, as in this valve here. Across the bottom, you'll find your Husky 12 foam system. These are the specifications and also a diagram. You'll also find your primer drain, reel blowdown, and also the flush. Down at the very bottom, you'll find all your associated drain valves, and you'll also find an access door on the right-hand side. There are instructions once you've reached behind the panel for your manual pump. This is a protected switch with also an indicator light. And then in yellow, the handle, this is for your foam handle regarding the use of filling foam or draining. On the right-hand side, you'll find your electronic control for your EXM. Moving to the left side of the pump panel, you'll find a set of switches. First, your air horn, reel rewind, driver's main inlet override, passenger side main inlet override and the rear main inlet override. There is also a future switch location at the very bottom. Just in the same vicinity, you'll find your EXM control. This is for your master stream, and also for your master stream, the extender, which allows you to extend the monitor up or down. Let's go ahead and move to the main center panel. We talked a little bit about it at the very beginning. This is going to be your Pierce maintenance schedule. This is for 150, 200, and 250 PSI. It shows the associated GPMs in addition with the RPMs. It also has the job number reference on it and the pump number. Let's move to the side of the apparatus. This is the top cab. This is a visual indicator for your tank. Moving down to the body itself, you'll find additional access storage for SCBA bottles. Moving to the mid compartment, you'll find two pull-out drop-down shelves. Moving down from this location, you'll find an additional access door. This houses your DEF and also your ultra low sulfur diesel fuel. As you can see, silver for your fuel. As you flip down the lid, you'll see additional access for your blue tank, which is the DEF 4.5 US gallons. The driver's side rear compartment has fixed shelving and a pull-out shelf at the bottom, in addition with a pull-out tool mounting board. Let's move to the rear of the apparatus. First, we'll start with the left-hand side. You'll find your brake, turn, and reverse light. There is also an exterior ladder regarding warning labels on that exterior ladder for pinch points. Located in the center, you'll find a drop-down door and also a roll-up door. We'll also find access here for your ladders, and we'll go over those individually next. First, let's start at the upper section here with a warning label regarding pressurized caps and once again those associated hazards. In the center, you'll find your backup camera. Moving down from that location, you'll find your traffic advisor. Let's start down in the lower corner. This is going to be your rear inlet, large diameter. Moving all the way to the opposite side, you'll find your rear scene lights. Moving over to the right-hand side of the compartments, you'll find this access door, which houses your 24 and 14-foot roof. Moving up from that location, you'll find pike pole or long tool storage in addition with a 10-foot folding. Access here for movable hose beds and also a rigid cover. At the very top section, you'll find additional tape that is reflective for firefighter safety while operating on the top section of your apparatus. As we move through the compartments, you'll find additional LED lighting. Let's move to the center about mid-section of your apparatus. This is where you'll find first your water fill for top and also the fill location for your foam tank A. There is also a warning label here regarding the non-mixing of foam. Moving to the right, you'll find your hydraulic oil and the reservoir for it with a sight gauge. This is the sight gauge at the very top, and down at the very bottom is a shutoff valve. Let's move just forward of this location. This is going to be your monitor. After this position is where you'll find your reel. This is the rewind motor in addition with a manual rewind location. Top of the vehicle here, you will find warning labels regarding not to walk on the top of this section of your apparatus. Looking from the front to the back of your apparatus, you can clearly identify that visual indicator tape for safety. Let's move to the rear section, drop down step, in addition with a roll-up door offering an adjustable shelf inside. We're now to the passenger side of the vehicle, roll-up door locking. I'd also like to mention inside you have an adjustable pull-out shelf, and in the upper left-hand corner, you'll find your 12-volt DC barrel-style electrical outlet. Behind the access doors, we're going to find storage for bottle storage, in addition with straps for securing those bottles. Moving to the forward location, additional SCBA bottle storage. Moving up from this location to the mid compartment, once again, roll-up door. These are all locking doors and LED lighting on the inside. As we move forward of this location, you'll find 3 shelves that are adjustable. in addition with a bottom shelf that pulls out. Upper corner, you're going to find two barrel style 12-volt access points and also LED lighting. As we look to this section here, you'll find a warning label regarding extremely hot exhaust temperatures and be cautious as to where you park. Just beneath that, you'll find your rear inlet and your manifold drain. Also, just in front of that, you'll find your rear inlet air bleed. Let's take a look at the midsection of the components here. First, starting with a warning label regarding riding on the side of the apparatus or rear, and also, once again, that warning label regarding pressurized caps and the associated hazards. You do have a passenger side main inlet override. You'll find the number 2 passenger side in addition with the associated override for that 2.5 inch. And just beneath that in green, the large diameter discharge, there's also an override for that. At the very base, you'll find all of your drains. As we move just forward of this location, you're going to find your water strainer drain. This is a turn, not a pull. And then all the way over to the side, you'll find your water strainer and also, once again, that warning label regarding riding on or fall hazards. Same compartment on this side as far as accessing with the dead load on the top and the 2 cross loads on the bottom. We're now inside the rear section of the cab, passenger side. You'll find red straps on those hinge points. Those are for assisting firefighters into the cab. You also have 2 forward-facing seats and also 2 rear-facing seats, storage compartments on right and left sides. This is the access door to gain access for daily checks for your oil and transmission. Let's take a look at the 2 side compartments in the rear. As you can see, there is an adjustable shelf in the middle. Moving forward of this location by the passenger seat, you'll find your auto charger. This will operate when plugged into shore power. Moving to the passenger side door, and at all points of entry, you'll find additional warning labels and the use of seat belts. Your vehicle is also equipped with a supplemental restraint system. Please make sure that you keep this area clear from any type of items for the safety of the occupant. Just above that, you'll find a dash and a grab handle. Moving to the left, you'll find, in the very center, I should say, a map reading light with an on-off switch on the right. And to the left, you'll find the controls for your go light, which control and also on-off. You'll also find on this mount your air horn and the possibility for future switch locations if needed. Moving onto the center, you'll find 2 barrel-style 12-volt, in addition with a parking brake and your vehicle data recorder port. Let's move overhead in the passenger seat. You'll find a digital speedometer. Moving further over, a high-intensity light overhead, in addition with a weather band radio. Moving to the left, you'll find your emergency siren and PA controls. Now to the driver's seat. Once again, points of entry, you'll find additional warning labels. I would like to point out as we move through this, just out of view here, you'll find additional warning and caution labels and also a yellow placard, which we'll talk about here in the next set of images. Up on the top of the door panel, you will find all of your window controls for your electric windows. Let's go down about knee height. Left knee, you'll find your tech module, transmission, engine, ABS diagnostic port. You'll also find your ABS diagnostic, engine diagnostics, regen inhibit, and DPF regen switches. Just above this, you'll find your master battery switch. This is a quarter turn. It's indicated in red. And as we move further up from this location, you'll find your ignition, start, and 4-way flashers or hazards. You'll also find the next set of switches over, which is EM, which stands for Emergency Master, your headlights, parking lights, and to the right, the panel dim switch for brightening and dimming the panel lights. Generalized view here of the steering wheel. There are multiple controls within this area, in addition with headlights, air horn, windshield wipers, and also emergency lights. This is also equipped with a SRS airbag. Let's take a look at the dash components next and the gauges. Starting on the left, you'll find your transmission, oil, DEF, and water temperature, tachometer, and speedometer. To the right, you'll find your voltage, fuel, front air, and rear air. In the center, you'll find additional information that lights up. Moving to the right, you'll find your high idle on-off and also an indicator for the high idle OK. Let's go ahead and look overhead. Generalized picture. Left corner, we'll start with the placard in yellow, indicating the height, 10 feet 4 inches, length, 32 feet 5, gross vehicle weight rating, 23.25 tons. This is also an additional location for your job number. From this location, let's move right overhead of the operator. We'll find a bank of switches. First, your emergency master, your roof light, front warning light, and side warning light. Next set down, you'll find your lower rear warning, upper rear warning, high beam flash, and your opticom. Moving slightly to the right, we'll find your air horn, electronic siren, your mechanical siren, your cornering scene lights, driver's side scene lights, front scene, passenger side scene, and also your rear scene lights. All of these will light around them once they have been engaged. To the right of that, you'll find your control for your traffic advisor, siren control, PA. Moving to the right, you'll find in the center your Pierce information regarding seat belts. Red indicating that someone is in the seat but they are not belted. Green indicating they're in the seat and belted. Located between the passenger and driver seat overhead, you'll find a red indicator light. If you have a compartment door or a service door open, this will illuminate. Let's move forward now. First, yellow, system parking brake, pull to apply, push to release. Also your zone defense. Allison transmission pad with an indicator to pump in neutral. As we move to the right, you'll find your engine brake on and off. Engine brake control for low, medium, and high, your mirror heat, stationary OK to pump and roll indicator, also a water pump and foam system. Down beneath that, a digital readout for your pump pressure, water tank, and foam tank. Moving to the set of switches to the right, you're going to find your cab lock downs not engaged, several future switch locations, siren brake, and load manager. Just above that, you'll find your go light, on-off switch, and control. And slightly above that, you'll find your mirror controls for your left and right mirror. All the way to the front of the cab, you're going to find your climate control for heat and defrost, heat and also AC. And on the A-pillar driver's side, you'll find your VIN number for your vehicle. Here's a generalized view looking from the front of the cab to the rear. You can see the two forward-facing seats in addition to storage compartments on the right and left. Let's go back inside driver's section. This is the warning and caution label regarding the use of this vehicle and the associated hazards with diesel exhaust. This is going to be your manufactured by Pierce Manufacturing for the city of Scottsdale. This has information for date of manufacture, job number, gross vehicle weight ratings, cold tire impression, VIN number, and also your fluid capacities. Next to this location, you'll also find an additional placard regarding fluid specifications. Let's go ahead and take a look at the rear section of the cab here, rear-facing seats and also forward-facing seats, in addition with the two outer sections here for storage. These are roll-up doors in this location with interior LED lighting. Congratulations, Scottsdale, Arizona, on your new apparatus. If you have any questions, please contact your Hughes Fire sales representative. Congratulations and good luck. Thank you.